Good evening, this is Cassandra Arnold, and I'm presenting my e-learning project, the 7th grade Literary Lounge. And so this project is one where I will be using WordPress as the tool to help 7th grade students create a story collaboratively using the blogging component of WordPress. The reason why I picked this particular project is because I feel traditional literacy skills like reading and writing are still relevant in our information age. After all, we constantly text and we're engaging online, evaluating information and deciding what meaning we're making from the information that's received. So learning those skills of identifying and analyzing and summarizing information both through reading as well as writing will be very helpful for 7th graders. When they learn this at an earlier age and they learn how to present themselves online with good grammar and well thought out perspectives, that translates when they become a higher education student and also in their professional careers. So because I'm not a traditional teacher, I needed help understanding cognitive learning processes, adolescent practices. So what are students doing online as it relates to literature? And also I needed some guidance in how to actually implement that vision of helping students write online together. What I found from the cognitive learning processes is that in addition to teaching a student how blog tools work or how some of these online tools work, making the connection that they're actually producing content and producing outcomes from that online engagement is important. That's an aspect of digital literacy that is very key because when you know how to create from those projects, students have more opportunities and they can break more barriers using digital tools. It also supports the 21st century learning skills of critical thinking and being creative through the ability to actually use and produce those tools. From the adolescent practices, middle school students really value the social connection that they get from talking to fellow students online. I think it's important to still leverage that online component in the classroom where students see each other face to face, because not all students may feel comfortable expressing themselves and they might feel better doing it in writing. So it puts the ability to participate on a more equal footing. In addition, when students can make personal meaning from what they're learning, they then have a better interest in the academic subject that they're using. So I'm trying to incorporate some aspect of their personal interests into the course. So based on, even though the fact that I selected WordPress as the tools, my main goals is to promote interaction and engagement among the students. So I feel that my digital habitat focuses more on the community orientation and the integration through practice. So by students responding to discussion prompts, by students critiquing each other through their feedback, that is how my habitat is set up. So basically, it's going to be a 3-lesson project whereby students have already participated in reading exercises, and to add that personalization component, I'm adding fan fiction as an area where the students can read and further explore through their writing. The writing exercises will be done through using the pear deck to brainstorm some ideas on a story that they would want to do. Then they would use the WordPress to actually do the writing, and I like the idea of having an online space for that writing because one, writing tends to be considered a solitary act, and that might take the fun out of creating. So when you're doing it online and collaborating in a group, it's kind of like a game and you like the back and forth. Also, you're actually seeing your words in print, which I think is kind of neat. So as a result of those 3 lessons, I think there will be evidence of productive use, creativity, and critical thinking. The social learning and the social engagement through the brainstorming is also be very evident. And the students will learn digital citizenship because they will be guided in terms of how to present their critiques and how to give feedback and how to encourage and support each other. I was able to find some learning standards through the New Jersey state curriculum that supported those goals that I set out in the plan. The first three relate to being able to read and identify components and make meaning. The fourth standards involves actually writing a narrative, having it be well structured and engaging and orienting the reader. And that's what we'll do through those series of discussion prompts as students are entering their comments. And then also for the students who want to be peer reviewers and not necessarily be writers, they'll have that opportunity to do that, and they will pose questions to elicit elaboration from some of their peers and give feedback. From a technology perspective, they're definitely engaging in a design process where they're going to be able to develop and revise prototypes. They're going to be seeking feedback about their performance and also getting that from their peers and their teachers, and they're cultivating their digital identity. So this is an example of the peer deck tool that would be used to start the brainstorming process with the class. It's essentially a PowerPoint presentation that you can present, and students can interactively text in their responses, and everyone can see the responses but not necessarily who was sending it. So it helps promote that individual participation. So as you can see, this is the opening slide where we're introducing the fact that we're going to collaborate on a story together, and we want everybody's feedback and contributions. Then start to identify different sections of the story. So this first section was the setting, and you give them different ideas. And then the students were able to text back what they think it should be and probably do a majority rules. And this is how we're going to start our story. So here is my e-learn environment, the 7th grade literacy expressions. As you can see by the template and the header image, I'm promoting We Are Writing here. It's very obvious. And the three main sections here, the workspaces, the reference text, which has tools to help students with the technical writing, and a contact section if the student might want to have a private conversation with the teacher. With the workspaces, I'm giving the students the option to create their own extension of a fan fiction, a novel, or that they like. If students decide to continue with the story that was created through the peer deck exercise, this is the section they would access. And I also have on every page what I call the code of conduct, where it's encouraging but also a little firm in that you practice by learning new skills. No contribution is too small. But constructive feedback is required and not suggested, so you have to approach your feedback with a particular tone. Don't suffer in silence, ask questions, and take advantage of the quiz games and such. So let's go into the class-based writing exercise here, where the teacher's instructions and prompts are in the blue font. Summarize what the students decided on from the peer deck exercise and started the story. So now we have discussion prompts where students can reflect on how they want to move the story forward. Because there could be 20, 30 kids in a class, I didn't just want to give one suggestion in how they could move the story forward in case they wanted to do things differently. For peer reviewers, I gave them some guidance in terms of how they could start the story. Their feedback, not negatively, was the first comment. Maybe starting out with what they liked, what caught their attention, and then also maybe how they can give feedback by identifying what made it hard for them to understand what the writer was saying. And I've here populated some examples of that using the comment section, like furthering the story, examples of someone giving peer feedback as well in here. And finally, on the home page, for students that really like the writing exercises and want to engage more with writing, I have some sections where, for example, there's a writers club or a graphic novel club. So I kind of use that from storyboard that arnold.com to help students kind of stay engaged. And also there's a Scholastic message board for where students actually post writing, and it's organized by genre, it's organized by subject matter, so I thought that was really great for students to be able to access as they're trying to learn how to write better. So reflecting on the project, I definitely think some of the benefits of community interactions are achievable. I think the students can come together and share their ideas and feed off of each other's energy. There's more open participation through the communication. I like the asynchronous nature of WordPress in that it has the ability for students to be able to think about and reflect on what they want to contribute before they actually start writing. And then other students can come in at a later time when it's more convenient for them, and they could feed off that energy as well. Also, because the teacher has the ability to review the actual content, I don't think that promotes cheating. I think that's the essence of brainstorming and creative collaboration. As you're sharing your ideas, it kind of helps you as well think further and think about maybe a different perspective. WordPress has that familiar feel of a website and navigation, so I think that is also a benefit of the tool. But I think if I was to do this course again and use a different tool, I think I would be a little bit more focused on integration by platform and less about integration by practice, because I think it would be a little cumbersome for students and teachers to be able to go through all the comments and identify what sections of the stories they would like. I think some of the tools that have been suggested both in the literature and through some of the example tools that we could have used through the projects like Moodle, they have a more structured environment where going from posting comments and then also chatting and then categorization and filtering is a little more seamless. So the ability to synthesize the information and even vote on the information that you want to include or exclude is better. I think it would also be fun for students as they're reviewing the content that was accumulated asynchronously, they could maybe chat about it and they could make further edits. I think that's an excellent part of the creative writing process that would be beneficial to them long term. So that's my project, and I hope you found it beneficial.